welcome. My name is Marilyn Romatka and I'm the instructor at Taproot Folk Arts. This is a mini lesson in adding the findings to the end of a Viking knitting coil. I teach this class at conferences and sometimes the students aren't finished making their coil in class. I do demonstrate putting the findings on at the conference, but this is a permanent record that students can refer to online to watch all the steps go by of getting the findings on the end of these necklaces. A Viking knitting coil can be cut anywhere along the length and it won't unravel, which is really convenient for us. It means that I can decide exactly how long I want my necklace to be. Let's say I need to take off about an inch. All I have to do is just start snipping each of the wires until it's free. And in the end, what I'll have is 4 loops and a wire. Getting the findings on the end of your coil involves a number of steps, so we'll go through them slowly. The first thing you're going to want to do is get a 4-inch piece of gauge 20 wire, and we're going to put a hook in it. That's step number 1. We're going to go fishing. What I'm fishing for are some of the loops. Doesn't need to be all of them. If I get at least 2, that's pretty good. Step number 3 is I'm going to bend this back such that it's a 90-degree angle. And step number 4 is, in order to enclose this wire with an angle of secure wire, I'll stabilize it here and then bend this back around. What this is going to do is close up an elbow around that longer wire and make it all very stable. Now that is not going to come off, but my end cap will not fit over it. It's too long. So step number 5 is snip off that little spur. Step number 6 is add the end cap and cover up everything that's messy. I like step number 6. For step number 7, we need to get a measurement of a little bit of wire before we make the loop. And so to get the measurement, I'll use this tool and I'll just put it on. That's a good measurement. And I'll do an angle, which will make my neck before my loop. For step number 8, we're going to want to mold the loop, and I'm going to use my rounds in order to be used as a mold. I'll pinch that there, and then this wraps around that way because what I'm after is that wonderful shape. Isn't that cool? Step number 9 is rather important. Don't forget to put on the lobster claw. I have forgotten that before, and it's really quite embarrassing. Once the lobster claw is on, step number 10 is to put a 90-degree angle in the wire. And I've used my rounds to hold that loop open while I do. There's my 90-degree angle. And I can continue to hold that loop open with my rounds while I do step number 11, which is wind this winder wire around the neck and around the neck, and I'm going to get a decorative coiling of the copper wire on that neck. And once I'm just getting it laying up next to all the other coils, once it just starts to lay on top of each other just like that, then you're done coiling. And I'll snip that off. Now, that doesn't look like it would be pleasant on the back of your neck, so I'm going to hide that. And I'm going to do that with my flat flats. I will do the squeeze and roll and squeeze and roll and squeeze and roll trick. And I'll just use up all of that extra length, getting him in line with all of his neighbors there. Squeeze and roll and squeeze and roll until That gives me a nice ending. Oh, I can also straighten that loop a bit after all is said and done. And now we get to see all the steps again with the other half of the necklace. Step 1, get myself my 4-inch wire, make a hook. We are going fishing. Catch as many loops as I feel like and bend it on back so that it's a 90-degree angle. And now I stabilize it this way with my flat flats so that I can push that one into an elbow. This will make more sense having seen it once. I'm going to squeeze that elbow because it's got to fit inside the end cap, right? Then that long spur needs to go because that's wider than the end cap. And I like this part, when the end cap goes on and all of the inconsistencies disappear. I like that a lot. You want to make sure that that last wire is inside the end cap. 4 loops and a wire. The next step, get myself a measurement using my flat flats to make a 90-degree angle. Then my round rounds hold on to that just long enough for me to bend it around and get this cool shape. This time I don't need to remember the lobster claw because this is going to be the loop that the lobster claw then fits into. So I'm going to hold that roundness open and lay that wire at a 90-degree angle to the neck. Ooh, that's not really round. Let me try a little farther. That looks better. And then the winding wire is going to start its journey around and around. If there ends up a few spaces between the rounds, as you get down to the last thing that fits in, they all kind of push into each other quite well. As soon as it starts to lay on top of somebody, that's as far as you're going. And I cut flush. And now I take care of that spur with my flat flats. Pinch and roll and pinch and roll, pinch and roll. And it'll fight you a little bit. Until it slips right into place like its neighbors. And straighten that up a little bit. And there we have it. Your necklace is finished. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.